So hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today in this video I will show you how to root Realme RM6785 devices with KernelSU, and I will also talk about what is KernelSU and what are the benefits of it. So let's get started. So I hope you already known about this. So before talking about how to root Realme RM6785 devices with KernelSU, let's talk about what is it. So the KernelSU is a new method for rooting the Android devices. So how it roots the device? So for the past couple of years we have used many methods for rooting Android devices, such as superSU, where the super partition was used to root the device. Then here it comes the Magisk. In Magisk we used boot image to root the system. Now in KernelSU we get the root access through the kernel. So this is how the KernelSU works. It gives the root access through the kernel. Now as you know, to root any device or to use any custom ROMs, the device must be unlocked. That means the bootloader of the device must be unlocked and a custom recovery should be installed on that device. And talking about the benefits of KernelSU, you can use the banking apps without any issue because it does not detect the root until you grant the root access, which you will never do. And this is quite easier than Magisk because we don't have to turn on anything like Magisk hide or flash any safety net module, etc. You will get all of that by default. So these are some benefits of KernelSU. Now here in my device you can see there is no Magisk app, and let me show you that the device is not rooted. So here is the root checker app, and when I verify the root you can see. So I will show you how to root the device with KernelSU. And talking about the current ROM, I am currently on AOSPA, which is based on Android 13, and this ROM is for Realme RM6785 devices. Here you can see, and the default kernel used in this ROM is the 4.14.319 lineage kernel. Just see the code, because the kernel where the KernelSU is implemented is also a lineage kernel. So remember the difference. In this ROM the default kernel is lineage kernel, but in other ROMs we get different kernels, so that's another thing. Now let's see how to actually root the Realme RM6785 device with the KernelSU. So how to do that? You have to reboot into custom recovery. So in this ROM there is no advanced reboot, so I have to enter command. So let me get to the custom recovery, then I will show you further process. So now I am in custom recovery. Let me enter the pin, and this custom recovery supports decryption. That means you can access the internal storage now in Realme 6785 devices. You can check the shots that I made. Now here is an important point, which is in most of the devices the KernelSU comes in a custom kernel, which means you can flash a kernel that comes with the implementation of KernelSU. That means the KernelSU is added in that kernel. But in the case of Realme 6785 device, here is a boot image which comes with KernelSU implementation, and this is for now, because in future there will be a kernel which will support the KernelSU. That means the KernelSU will be added in a custom kernel, so don't worry. For now you can use the KernelSU with this boot image. So the KernelSU is implemented in this boot image. So let's click on this boot image, click on boot, and I will flash it. Now if you think that this is just a boot image, this will not work in all the ROMs, so how can we use this on all the ROMs? Don't worry guys, this boot image will work on all the Android 13 ROMs. I'm not actually sure, but I have tested in many ROMs, and my other friends in the RM6785 community has tested this boot image in many ROMs, and it worked in all the ROMs. So don't think it will not work in a Android 13 ROM. It works in all the Android 13 ROMs, and it is not tested in Android 11 and 12 based ROMs. So for now you can say this works on all the Android 13 ROMs. So let's flash the boot image. So the flashing is successful. Now let's just reboot into system. And friends, the review of AOSPA custom ROM is coming really soon. This is a good custom ROM with literally no customization. I will tell everything in the review, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification So I have flashed the boot image. That means my device is now actually rooted. So what to do next? You have to go to Chrome, type KernelSU here, and go to the GitHub website, or you can go to their official handle. I will go to GitHub. Now scroll down. You can learn all about the KernelSU from here. In the releases, click on the 0.6.1, which is the latest one. Scroll down. At last you will get the KernelSU app. You can just click on it to download. So you can see it started downloading. So I have to just open it up and install the app, and when I open it you can see it's working, and the kernel here is lineage G79 etc etc. So I told you earlier to remember the name. You can see it's different, but it's the lineage kernel where the KernelSU is implemented, and here you can see the manager version is version 0.6.1. so this is the KernelSU interface. Now you get to know about the version from this screen. Now when you click on this button, you will get all the apps, and you can grant the root access to any app that you have installed. So here I have the Franco kernel manager. If I want to grant the root access to this app, then I can click on it and turn on this option to grant the root access. Now again let me show you that the device is rooted, but it will not show the root access. So it will show the root access only when I grant the permission. So here is the app, and when I turn it on and check the root, it will show the device is rooted. So this is how it works. Now you can also turn on the root access for any other application that you have installed. For example, you can turn on the root access to the empty manager. Let me show you. If I grant the root access, you will see that it is showing the root directory. So this is how it works. Now you can also turn off the root access, so it will not work. Here you can see it is now showing the internal storage, not getting to the root directory. Now this was how you can grant the root access to all the applications. Now let's talk about how to flash modules. So in the KernelSU, you don't actually need to flash any SafetyNet module because the system doesn't know that the device is rooted. But you can flash modules from here. You have to just click on install and locate to the module that you want to install. So for example, I will flash the PUBG FPS unlocker. You can see the module started flashing. So yes, it detected the volume button and it was successfully installed. Now it is saying to reboot. So I will just reboot. So you can see here the PUBG FPS unlocker is successfully installed. So this is how you can root the Realme RM6785 devices with KernelSU. Now the devices like Miatol can be also rooted with KernelSU. I will show you how. You have to just go to Telegram and search for the device that you have. Let me turn on the internet. For example, let's suppose you have Redmi Note 7 Pro. Then you will search Redmi Note 7 Pro. You will get the discussion group, or you will get the updates. Here search for KernelSU. So for now there is no result. Let's get to the discussion group. Here you can search about KernelSU, and you will see that they have been discussing about the KernelSU, and you can see they have discussed about the KernelSU, and this is the kernel where the KernelSU is implemented. So you can flash this kernel on your Redmi Note 7 Pro, then install the app which is KernelSU version 6.0, although you will install the latest version which is recommended, and you will get the root access with KernelSU. Now for example, you have Miatol device like Redmi Note 9 Pro, Pro Max, Redmi Note 9S or Poco M2 Pro or Redmi Note 9 Lite, then you can go to the Miatol discussion group, then you can search from here, but I will prefer go to the updates and search for KernelSU, and you can see in the positron kernel the KernelSU is implemented as mentioned in the changelog added KernelSU. So you can just download this kernel and flash it in your Meatel device and install the latest KernelSU application, then you will get root access. So this is how you can root any device with KernelSU. So this is basically it for this video. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to turn on the notification so you don't miss the videos. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.